Hey everybody, I'm Suzanne Gundersen from Screenwritenow. I help screenwriters and industry creatives to naturally de-stress and get focused into their creative rhythm and flow, build tremendous confidence, and deepen their emotional worldview into wisdom and truth. That way they can hook every audience. So today's video is a part of my Industry Wisdom Bit series where I'm bringing you professionals in television and film to share with us just one golden nugget of wisdom or advice they've come to learn in their career, and maybe can help you too. So today we're joined by Julia Bobkoff. Julia, thank you so much for being here today. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you for having me. I've been writing since I was very young. I come from a family of writers. Both my mother and father are English professors and writers, so I couldn't avoid it. And seriously, I've been writing my whole life. That's what I was known for in elementary school, and it's just what I pursued since I was a child. I'm one of those bizarre people that always knew what they wanted to do, and it was make films, tell stories. And it doesn't just have to be on the screen. It can be in a book. It could be through art. It could be through music. I'm a musician. So basically, I'm a storyteller. And I also like to help other people tell their stories and get those out of their heart and onto the page or the screen. So
Beautiful. What incredible work. And you've been doing this your whole life. So how beautiful. You've just been in that creative expression the whole time.
I don't think there's anything else I could do. And I've come to that conclusion that it's this or nothing. So that's why I do it.
Beautiful. So with all that incredible experience, your whole life up to this point, you must have so much wisdom, but could you just narrow it down to one gem for our audience today?
Um, I've often heard as a writer, you should write what you know, but I also think you should write what you don't know. And if you write something you don't know, there's going to be some fear involved. So this gem of wisdom is tied to the concept of fear. I think that Ralph Waldo Emerson said you should do what you're afraid to do. And I try to live by that. So I'll give you an example. I don't like to stand up in front of an audience. I've hated that since I was a kid. And yet the thing that I feel best designed to do always pulls me into like an audience situation. So I decided in my 40s, I need to get over this. So what I decided to do was make myself go up to an open mic every single week, maybe even twice a week, and read a poem or read an excerpt of something. I absolutely dreaded this, but I forced myself to do it. And the more I did it, the better my writing became and less fear I had. But I'm not going to promise you all your fear will go. It'll still be there. It's just you learn how to live with it and how to use it as energy. And so that ties back to the nugget of wisdom for writing. So let's say you've been told only write what you know, but maybe you love, like I do, stories that take place throughout history. Like, for example, I wrote a Viking project long before Vikings was a thing. And to do that, I had to do a lot of research. Well, obviously, I was never a Viking, though I would probably love to be one. And so that's writing what I don't know. But you can always bring what you do know to the story. So what you do is you connect what you don't know to what you do know. And that's what brings the story alive. So if I'm doing something historical, I will look for those facts in history that tie to my own life. For example, I wrote a story/film about a shield maiden, and she was forced to marry someone she didn't want to. And he was this horrible heathen king that was abusive and crazy and fat and just everything she didn't want. So this is a true story. So she went on a hunger strike and she made his life miserable and she refused to sleep with him. And she basically went into a psychological battle with him. This is what I read about in history. And I thought, I need to write this story because it relates to something in my personal life. I don't know what it's like to be a Danish princess, around the year 1000, but I do know what it's like to be trapped or to feel like you want to do whatever you have to do to get free. And this is the kind of character that would probably gnaw her own arm off to get out of a situation. Like she would do whatever it takes. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know everything about it, but I started writing about it. I did the research and then I just put my own feelings and heart into it. And the two like met and they fused.
Beautiful.
The other aspect of it is I don't always know how my story is going to end. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. You don't always have to know your full plot. as screenwriters, we often make a very detailed outline, but I don't
Mm,
always do that because it's more like for me, I see key scenes that I know they're going to be in that film. I'm writing because of those scenes. So for me, it's like the process of getting from one scene to the next. And in my hunger to get to this scene, that's what propels me through the other scenes. And that's what makes people more interested too. They're like
mhm.
rushing to get to the scene with me.
Yeah, it just seems like your whole process is about, being intrigued and staying curious and finding and just you can't be intrigued about something that you're not already connected to in some small way. And then
Right.
just kind of milking that curiosity. What a beautiful process, So definitely the wisdom of kind of like follow your intrigue,
Yes.
see where it takes you. That's
Yeah. Follow
amazing.
your intrigue, follow what you love, do what you love, but also you can write about what you hate too. You can write about what you're afraid of. You can write about what you don't
Mhm.
understand because in the process, you will learn. You'll learn along with your reader or viewer.
Mhm.
And here's another thought. Like, so I play violin, and I taught the violin for like over 20 years,
Wow.
lots and lots of little children. And to teach the violin, I really have to teach the parent to tune the instrument because it's really hard to do. And so I have to involve the parent for the kid to keep practicing. I remember as a
Interesting.
kid how frustrated I got trying to tune my instrument. I wanted to break it. And so it takes a lot of determination when you're young to not quit due to that. So I would say to parents, I'd like to teach you how to tune this violin. And they would say, no, 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 I can't do that. I'm tone deaf. I really can't. They'd be very afraid. And I'd say, I can teach anybody to tune a violin and I can teach anybody to play it. I can't teach you to love it, because you either love something or you don't, but I can cause a certain amount of proficiency in every person. I think
Mhm.
it's the same thing with writing. So I would teach these parents to tune, and they would be like, wow, I figured out how to tune this thing. And they felt empowered. Well, anybody can learn to write something. You might say, well, I'm not a writer. I don't know how to do that. Or for me, like right now, I branched into producing. I used to think, well, I don't see myself as a producer. I'm a film director. That's what I studied. But sometimes, just as stories find us, sometimes new jobs or roles or assignments find us, and you're afraid you don't want to meet them halfway.
Right.
But if you do, you can learn as you go, as long as you're honest about it. Like, okay, I don't know everything here, but I'm going to try, give it my absolute best. So that's pretty much my wisdom is
I love that. That's
run
so
with the fear.
beautiful. And I don't like to play the violin. I grew up playing piano, but I knew people that did. But interesting to know that everybody can tune one and you can teach them, and that you can do things that you can learn to do, but you might not love them. I love that too. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. How can we find out more about what's going on with you today?
Well, I'm producing 2 independent films, so I guess that you could include the links to those. And
For sure.
I have a book that I've published called The Big One. And I work with a lot of different clients. I don't just write my own stories, but I try to help other people tell theirs. And
Right.
one of my clients was Mike Krishik, who is a recovered quadriplegic. So I like working with like crazy, miraculous stories. And I want to find out how he recovered from that. So that book is out there right now, The Big One. And he's a
Beautiful.
very inspirational person. So check it out because honestly, he is the most positive person I know who had one of the hardest lives. And
Wow.
when he walks into a room, I don't care what mood you're in, it's like he changes the emotional temperature in the room just by his presence. And that positivity is what inspired me to write it.
Beautiful. Well, definitely we'll have to put a link to in the description box of this video. That way we can check out all the great, wonderful things you're working on. It sounds like you just embodied all of this amazing amazingness for your life and the creativity flow that you've been in and sharing with the people. Just so beautiful. So thank you for sharing that. And everybody feel free to pop on over to my website, Screen Right Now, and download your free ebook of 3 steps to get pitch ready. That way you can get into alignment with you, your script, and your audience and hook them. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you on the next Industry Wisdom Bits. Thank you, Julia.
Thank you so much.